Hey everyone, happy post 4th of July here. Today I'm super excited to have one of my favorite followers on Twitter, and more than that, a rock star CEO entrepreneur with an amazing background. Tansu Yegen, how are you?
I'm fine. I mean, it's a great day, even. Thank you for inviting me during such a special day, by the way.
Well, it's post July 4th here, so we're
Yeah.
a little bit hungover, but otherwise doing great. But let's talk about you. I've known you on social media and beyond for quite some time, so it's a joy to see you again. And I don't use the word rock star lightly, but you're a rock star in the corporate world, from companies, be CEO of companies like Turkcell, IBM, Samsung, UiPath, on and on. But rather than my terrible introduction, maybe introduce yourself to the folks viewing.
Yeah, sure. So I actually work in top well-known technology companies, and at very executive positions, like in order Hewlett Packard, 7 years Microsoft, 2 years I was general manager for Apple. Then I worked for the largest operator in Turkey and in Ukraine. And then I was general manager for IBM. Then I was co-general manager for Samsung, where I managed the whole mobile business amounting to $2 billion. And then I was part of the huge success story of UiPath like 5 years ago. And then starting from March, now I'm working with a company which is not well known for the time being, but I promise it will be extremely well known. So the name of the company is Appcircle, and actually I am among the founders of this company as well.
Well, there's a lot there to bite off. 20, 25, 30 years.
Yes.
But tell us about your journey. Where did you start, and maybe your first interest in tech and technology, and how that drove your career.
Yeah, even actually, it's a very cliche. But when I was like 4 or 5 years old, whatever electronics toy my father brought, I was kind of at disassembling it. Of course, then I could not reassemble it. And then my father was getting extremely mad at me. And then somewhere in 1984, I discovered the first Spectrum somewhere in 1983, and then the first PC. And my attention was the following: first I played with the games one or two times, and then my mind was thinking, how do these games appear on the screen? And then I started coding in assembler, and then basic C, and then in university I learned all this Fortran, COBOL, etc. And I fell in love with the technology. And I was so fortunate to work with people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and the leaders in Samsung. And I was always thinking, I'm doing my hobby and people are paying me for that one. And I see the latest stuff, and it's amazing to have been part of this journey. And one of the main reasons why I jumped into Twitter is, first I was trying to share all my knowledge with everybody, my interests, because I keep reading constantly. And I think in this era, especially with all these AI generative tools, etc., one has to constant update himself or herself.
Yeah, no, it's amazing looking at your career. And tell us about the environment in which you worked. You live headquartered out of Turkey at the moment, which was in the mobile days, at your Turkcell days, was a leader really globally in the first
Yeah,
digital communication networks. Many people don't know that.
yeah,
Many people don't know that Turkey is a very sophisticated developer and tech community. And you've managed to sort of ride those waves. You were one step ahead of mobile with Samsung. You're one step ahead
yeah,
of automation and AI with UiPath.
yeah.
So is AppCircle just again being one step ahead of where the market is going?
Yeah, I think so as well. What we do in App Circle is the following. All these banks, all the telco operators have their mobile apps, and we are using them. But if you ask like top 10 technology leaders in these companies, make them sit around the table and ask them, what kind of tools are you using to develop your mobile application? You will always receive different answers.
Mm.
And what we do in AppCircle is we standardize and automate the whole mobile application development and use a lot of AI technology so that the end application comes almost error free and at the fastest speed, let's say, during the whole development cycle. Because even if something goes wrong with a mobile application, you cannot patch it.
Mm.
It's horrible. You have to restart the whole journey from the beginning until you release it to both iOS and Android App Store, which is unfortunately very tightly controlled by Apple and Google. And you can't do this like this, that you are, is not like publishing on a web. You need to always comply with the rules set by them. So what we are doing is we are easing the way the mobile application is developed for many of the companies. And actually, it's amazing to see when I go to banks, not only in Turkey, in Israel, in Middle East, Africa, in UK, and right now we started talking to some banks in United States as well. They are amazed to see that we provide the full package in terms of development of mobile application. Of course, your next question might be, so what are they using? They are using lots of pieces of software which they are trying to integrate, but majority of the things are like manual.
Yeah, it's it's still maybe some years behind best practices
Yeah.
outside of app development.
Perfect.
When you think about the
Perfect.
web world, or even companies like UiPath, where you
Yeah.
led the revolution in with developers of
Yeah.
automation applications.
Yeah.
Um, so when it comes to mobile, you also talk a lot at AppCircle a lot about automation and
Yes.
AI. What is the future of AI and automation for developers of apps? Is it no code, low code, something more?
I mean, to start with, developers don't like low code. Okay,
Okay.
they want to be fully immersed into the code. But I think the companies have been smart enough to provide with the following: the developer can still play with the low code, but the low code then turns into a normal code, like with
Mm.
all details. So, which makes the life of the developer easier. There are few things that the developers don't like. One of them is, first, they have to always insert test scripts in every unit of the code that they are writing. But actually, they are aiming to release their code. They don't want to care about all these test scripts, etc. Why? Because why is it important? Because once another people, or let's say another external company, takes over the code becomes almost impossible to understand. I'm sure you have heard a lot as well. Okay, I mean, instead of rewriting this code or improving this code, let us write it from scratch. The main reason is developers usually don't like writing the test scripts. What we do is with AI, we bring all these test scripts automatically in front of the developer. The other thing is, Evan, so I have been a little bit far away, I have to confess, from coding and developing software. And the team showed me the error messages which occur during the development cycle. Impossible to understand. Even they're
Mm.
much worse than like anything that you can think of. And what we
Wow.
do is we developed a system where we provided our last maybe 10 years of error codes into this machine learning platform. And right now, in case of any error, our system kind of in a very simple text is telling to the developers, hey, this is the error which you have to correct by changing these parameters, etc. Definitely, I mean, your question is a very valid one. For the developers, if they adapt to the new AI era, it will make their life much easier in order to develop code faster with the highest quality and with including all the let's say test scripts, etc., which automatically boost the quality of the code.
Fantastic. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds incredible. Um,
Yeah.
and it's more than mobile apps today, although mobile apps are the bread and butter of these app stores. We have, of course, new devices like the Pro headset. We have wearables, larger screens, automotive. Are those markets you are looking at as well, as far as developers are concerned?
Yeah. So we are automatically in these markets as well. So our platform as well makes the life for these people easy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, the reason you caught my attention years ago was you're such a prolific content creator on social media. You have
Thank you.
many more followers, hundreds of thousands of followers than I have on Twitter. You're on other platforms. Tell us about your love of social media. It's very unusual for a senior executive slash CEO to have an interest in social media. When did you get hooked? I guess is
Yeah.
the
Even
question.
this is a fantastic question, because people tell me, why are you sharing this crap viral videos, etc. Okay? And of course, I share lots of technology as well. I mean, but
Yeah.
I have to confess, I share like 70% viral video and 30% technology video. Because if you share only technology, you have less followers. As a result, if you have less followers, then you cannot make
Mm.
people get interested in technology. Usually, viral videos are my hooks to start with. I opened Twitter accounts somewhere, I was playing, I think around 2009, but I started really using Twitter in 2015. I was the co-general manager of Samsung, managing a $2 billion business and selling every year 3 million mobile phones. You know what I did? And actually, it was the recommendation of the agency at that time. They told me, Tansu, you are a well-known figure, because, Samsung has still, I think, the largest market share, despite
Mhm.
many people think Apple has it, but no, Samsung. Maybe it might have changed because I've lost track of the last few years. But, you know, Evan, it's fantastic to see how people are reacting to your tweets. Starting from 2015, when I started tweeting, after a while, I was sitting with the agency and we were measuring the reaction on my tweets. And we were spending whole Samsung's marketing money based on the reaction of these tweets. It's
That's
amazing
amazing.
to
The
check.
goodness in the replies and the comments and the
Exactly,
engagement, that's where the
exactly,
gold is. That's what people don't
exactly,
understand. It's not even the tweet as much.
exactly.
Now
No,
you're in Turkey, a tech hub, and I see you were mentioned as one of the top most influential business people to watch throughout the Middle East, of course, Turkey and
no.
beyond. What's your key, your advice to an American company who might be looking to internationalize and to build its global presence? What's been your secret to success? You worked with many American companies from IBM, of course, and beyond. What's the secret to really selling and marketing outside the U.S.? Something we don't know much about as Americans,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I mean, so first of all, I think I was again very lucky. So I studied high school in German high school. So I
Hmm.
was together with German students in Istanbul, and there I had lots of student exchanges. I still have very close friends in Germany, and I'm
Wow.
fluent in
Nice.
German. So understanding these two cultures extremely well, of course, give you a very different scope. But I have to confess, when I started with digital equipment, that was the first American company that I
Wow.
started. And I remember like day one, I mean, like yesterday, my first days in France during a meeting where there were all different kind of nationalities, representatives, and we all, our ultimate goal was to grab the maximum marketing budget for our country. And I said, this is fun, this is a competition, this is amazing, requires lots of communication skills, etc. And I really work hard in order to understand what is going on and what is the agenda and how different people from different nations behave. And you can't go alone with the same tactics that you go alone with a German person from Germany or from France or from UK. So everybody requires a different approach. Some people extremely data oriented. Some people who want to be appreciated with the work they do. Some
Mhm.
people just look at the results; they're very harsh, etc. I think my adaptation skill has been extremely high, and even I have to confess about one thing as well. I was very lucky enough, starting from my Hewlett Packard career and especially all my Microsoft career. At that time, companies were investing into their employees. So I was in the hands of top famous professors for my development so that I could become one day a general manager. I was constantly in United States, getting lectured by some people, some professors in Switzerland, in Germany, France, and I was fortunate enough to go to Harvard for executive study, etc. All these things contribute to your development so much, and plus, I think I did two things which helped me a lot. One of them was I did not read any business books. I only read biography books about
Mm,
business people. It gives you so much insight. And then the other thing is I always looked at people. I observed people. For example, I looked Ivan and I said, he's an amazing person. So what can I learn from him? But then there are things which maybe are not useful for me. So I was kind of skipping them because not everything looks good on you. You cannot be like another person. But I kind of start collecting. And even I wrote a book it took me 5 years, published
mm.
2 years ago. It's about 40 business tools to make you success or shine your career and your business. And the book was released somewhere mid of 2021 in Turkey and became the best business book in Turkey. And
Wow.
right now I translated it. And these are like 40 business tools, yes. And there are books like this in United States in the bookstores or online, but this is totally different. For each tool, I'm explaining how I use these tools, in what cases, with real life examples. I'm sure. I mean, if I would have this book like the beginning of my career, I would have definitely gained at least 10 years of experience. And I'll let you know once it gets published in United States.
That's wonderful. That's a
Yeah,
great story. Yes, I agree. Listening and watching and learning way more important than just putting yourself out there and talking all the time. We love to talk in America,
yeah,
less listening. But you're not just known for your business and entrepreneurship work.
yeah,
You do a lot of philanthropic work, and you
yeah.
give back a lot. That must make you proud. Give us an anecdote or two about some of the things you've done over the years. Probably too
Sure.
long to list here.
Yeah, sure. So I have many awards all through my life to start with, but even I have never worked to get these awards. Even in
Yeah.
2008, I think I was I remember I was the most successful CEO in Europe, and I received a award from Stevie. But giving back has been always in my blood, and I think by far my number one story I would rate as when I joined the Ukraine operation of Turkcell, which was 45% a Ukrainian holding plus 55% Turkcell. I asked the team, how can we help Ukraine? And they told me we have huge street children problem, Tansu. There are
Wow.
children living on the streets. How many? 200,000. Wow, it's horrible. And why they are living there? Because I mean, they are simply enforced to leave their homes by their parents. The parents got either divorced or dead because of the financial problems, etc. And what we did was at that time, I organized, somehow I have the leadership skills in me. I organized together, of course, with the Marcom, all the top singers of Ukraine and all the top theater players. And we requested them, we are going to cover your costs for the albums that you are going to release or for the shows that you are going to run all through the Ukraine. But we need to collect the income in order to support the children of Ukraine who are living on the streets. And what we did was, and it worked extremely well. Everybody jumped into the program from their heart. And what we did was first we built two buildings next to each other. In one building, we started putting the street children. Into the next building, we asked Ukrainian families, come in and live here for free with only one condition. You have to have at least one child, and every night you have to take 3 children from the school to stay with you
Wow.
so that they
Wow.
see the parents' role model, okay? And over the weekends, I was going to the schools, bringing lots of food, gifts, etc., because I was living enough in Ukraine and my family was not with me. And they were like playing for me theaters, etc. It was amazing. And when I left in 2011 Ukraine, there were 140,000 street children. So already 60,000 of them
Wow.
had families. Even something strange happened in year 2019. Somebody called me from Ukraine and told me, Tansu, I need to come. I said, okay, who are you, etc. And so I'm Roman. I was working with, oh, yes, of Roman, of course, come. But why do you want to come? I need to bring you something. So what are you going to bring me? It's a surprise. Okay. He came to Istanbul. And then he had one book. It was like a drawing book. These children had drawn or painted for me. I said, that's nice, but why did you come for this one? You could have sent me because he
Yeah.
was sending me. Tansu, no, there's something else. There is a plaquette which I want to give you on behalf of Mr. Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. You know what
Wow.
happened? Like 2 years ago, thanks to the sparkle that you have created, we no more have any street children problem in Ukraine. And
Wow.
in 12 countries now we are replicating it. And I mean, I was amazed. I think this is by far the best award that one can
That
do.
is just that is just a story that's
Yeah,
just I'm speechless. Yeah, what a
yeah,
wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful story.
Thank you. And I
We're
still keep
we're
in
we're
touch.
we're coming up on the bottom of the hour here, but I did want to ask any advice to all the aspiring startup founders, entrepreneurs, folks out there wanting to build AI apps, for
Yeah,
example. What advice would you give them, either the younger folks or people with experience like
even
yourself, maybe in the
for the,
corporate world?
yeah, for the last 5 years, trust me, whichever event I go, startups, I only tell them if I would not have a job, I will definitely start a startup about AI. Okay,
Hmm.
period. And I have to confess, I'm sure you might agree with me. None of us would be expecting that AI, especially all these generative AI tools, will pump up so fast, and they are right now out of control. But the thing is, if you look any of the AI tools, in case, I mean, the AI tools are one after another into the market. Some of them are opportunistic, based on Chat GPT. They're doing and then they're disappearing. All this Twitter writer, etc. Because you can do already in Chat GPT. These were the early days where we none of us were knowing actually we could create this one. But all these AI companies, amazing, but they have a huge problem. They don't care about customer retention. They don't offer anything. You just simply jump in, and
Hmm.
in case the technology is nice, you stay there. Like Mid Journey, and I use many of the AI tools, by the way. I spend fortune on them. Oh, I hope my wife is not listening to this call, but I need to use them. So I mean, all the startups, whoever are going to, who are in AI business or planning to have a startup, they have to look first of all to these AI tools and have to understand which company is in a best situation and is not caring about the retention. How can I solve the retention problem? We should never forget Google's browser was the 19th browser. So before Google, there were 18 more, and Google became successful. And by the way, I like extremely much Apple model. Apple is always a laggard, but they watch and come and they destroy the market. The second thing is, I mean, it's so basic. Sometimes we forget a startup needs to solve a problem. And the problem, if it affects a huge market, go ahead and just set up a startup. Okay. The third one, what I see very clearly is majority. So I have as well like 7 investments in United States personally in startups, and I mean amazing boys and girls with lots of passion and they're trying to do. But I always make sure that they have a sales leader, because without any
Hmm.
customer, you are nothing. I mean, you can be extremely well on technical way, and it makes me so sorry when I see on Twitter, you don't need a salesperson. You are technical person. You are the CEO. No way. Come on. Sales is totally different. Don't underestimate the power of the sales. Because you look at UiPath, Daniel Dines, the founder, amazing technical guy. I mean, adorable. But thanks to the salespeople, UiPath came to these days.
Right.
The technology should be there, definitely. But technical people have to focus on technology. And I am extremely lucky enough and fortunate enough in Appcircle. There is an amazing guy who is building the whole software together with the developer team. And he's telling me, don't tell me anything, just sell. Don't report anything. And this is the
Well,
way that we are working. I think
the
this
energy is coming through. Your sales
is
powers are phenomenal. The enthusiasm.
exactly.
It's been so great having this quick chat. And you're in
Yeah,
Istanbul. To many Americans, Turkey is very far away, very mysterious, kind of an unknown place. But it's a lovely country, beautiful
yeah.
people. Where should people come? When should they come to visit Turkey, either for holiday or otherwise?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, they can come anytime because the weather is always nice here to start with. Istanbul is amazing. All the history and all the modern life, all the poor life, all the rich life, beautiful people, and highest quality of service, beautiful hotels. It's so difficult for me. And of course, I mean, I'm a citizen here. I never thought of moving to another country after having lived in Istanbul. I mean, Bosporus, etc., and the history, all this Hagia
Oh,
Sophia mosques, the Ottoman history is still live here in Istanbul. And not the life is not only in Istanbul. I'm sure you know about Cappadocia, all of our
mm,
ski resorts, South Turkey, West Turkey, and anybody can drop me a message in case they want to come to Turkey. I'll be very happy to recommend things and happy to meet over a coffee in case they come to Istanbul.
wonderful. You may have a second career as the in the Turkish tourist board,
No
but
problem.
anything in
Pleasure.
particular you're looking forward to beyond enjoying the beautiful summer in Istanbul? Any travel otherwise? Or are you just going to take a little bit R&R for the summer?
Yeah, so I actually, hopefully, my son is going to start in the mid of August in Boston
Oh,
University. In Boston.
Bobson University, the great
Exactly.
entrepreneurial
So
school. So like
I'm
father, like
sure
son.
really great. So we can talk about it as well. So I think we will be often traveling back and forth to Boston. I'm sure it's, I mean, we're gonna miss him so much.
Mm,
After all the 18 years that we spent days and nights together. So the first trip will be to Boston for like 10 days, and then I'm sure to the other parts of United States until it finishes.
wonderful. Well, you
Yeah,
must be very proud, and thank you for sharing your vision and enthusiasm with the folks here. And thanks for watching, everyone. After the long holiday break, look forward to
thank
getting
you.
back to the grind. Okay, thanks, Tansu.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.